Hello, my name is Hamish, and before the video starts, please don't exit this video with some younger. You may enjoy yourself still, and if you feel like it, subscribe. This video is a song of praise over the final bosses of Hollow Knight. The Hollow Knight and the Radiance. We will be starting with the Hollow Knight, as it is the first boss the player will encounter out of the two. On my first playthrough, considering how difficult the rest of the game was, I did not expect the final boss to be as easy as it was. At first, this may seem like a downside to the fight, but it is not. The Hollow Knight's more of a cinematic fight. When you first enter the room, you see the Hollow Knight bound up in chains, looking at you. With each chain you break, the music gets more and more tense, building up until the last chain is broken and the music suddenly explodes. Despite the fight being easy, it's still quite a fun one of my favourites personally. The attacks in the first phase are rather easy but fun nonetheless. The first attack, the triple slash attack, credits to the perpetual move for the name, is simple yet somewhat challenging to dodge due to the fact that most slashes in this game can be dashed away from, but this one can't because of the quick succession of 3 slashes. The lunge and the parry are rather simple but can provide little small challenges to keep pressure applied. In phase 2, 2 new attacks are introduced. These attacks begin to have more infection to the point where fire is being infected, which is a bit odd. Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? With these attacks are feeble imitations of the Hollow Knight's former spells, as seen during the Pure Vessel fight. This phase then when the third phase begins, the Hollow Knight begins stabbing itself. This moment was one of the most shocking moments in the game. It made me realise how bad this was, to the point where the Hollow Knight was in too much pain to go on. Remember, this game is only rated PG despite also having numerous vessels being sacrificed. The music shifts to a somber theme which changes the entire mood of the fight in an instant. The new attacks in this phase have the Hollow Knight completely overtaken by infection, unable to control its own body. They're still just as fun to dodge. Personally, I find the one where it spews infection out of its chest a tad unfair, but otherwise they're both really fair. They also are attacks which have a little bit of guilt added onto them. Sorry if I stutter a little bit, I am reading out of a script as well though. The Hollow Knight rules once again, Hornet plants a needle in its head, wrapping it in gossamer, which is just such a cool moment. Like, you've mainly been fighting from her and running from her and overall not being like on great terms, and it falls to the floor and dream particles fall out of its head, which is one of my favourite little subtle ways to indicate what to do that Team Cherry has used. It's just absolutely brilliant. I love it. Then you dream now of the Hollow Knight, and well, when you enter, it is far from the infection-riddled dream I had expected, and the mind where the god of the infection is sealed. It is the same area where you murdered the poor dreamers. There are platforms which you must scale up towards, with one prompt to challenge appear. this first happened, I was extraordinarily confused as there was nothing to challenge. I pressed up, or W in my case, and to my horror, the sun started unfolding a pair of wings. It teleports to the center of the arena, being seemingly devoid of any signs of an infection, despite being the thing that created it. A full-screen title card appears which announces its name, which is just really cool. Fight is one of the most mechanically sound in the entire game, in my opinion. It is a true test to the skills that the players learned up until this point. I honestly don't know where to start with this, how great this fight was. It mixes up the best parts of many of the previous bosses. The orbs it fires are like Soul Master's infection spells, only faster and more dramatic in punishment if you fail. It takes a dashing through the shockwaves of the Traitor Lord, which is actually technically the Traitor Lord probably took it from her, but shut up. And combines it with the same attacks at the same time, incentivizing getting them out of the way as quick as possible, though this isn't always possible, obviously. And it combines the swords it fires are like Gorb, who is the best boss in the game because he's fun, he's easy, and he's funny, and like if this gets to 10 likes, I will make a video detailing why Gorb's the best boss in Hollow Knight. The sword she rains and fires from side to side are really a test of platforming, though the ones that rain from above are probably easier. They do happen at the same time as many other attacks, which is annoying to dodge, but still fair nonetheless, because they're relatively slow and there's always enough gaps, especially the swords that rain from above. There's this little gap in between them where you can always like go through. This is like multitasking, which was somewhat touched upon in the Colosseum of Force by game design. Like they're sort of, so not really, but like somewhat to a degree. It's clever, and it's also like platforming. It's a very clever usage of packing two mechanics into one attack, which is absolutely something I like. So the swords that descend are really good because you can master them quite easy. Like there's a high skill level because you can go in between the non-huge gaps to get through it. And then the final attack that is probably the best attack in the fight is the spiked floor attack. This attack is just absolutely brilliant. I love it. I would eat it. Actually, that's not the best quote, but anyway. It only happens in the first quite difficult phase, but like it's just a really brilliant idea to make like just a spiked floor. So sometimes the only way to dodge an attack while it's happening, especially with beam burst actually, but sometimes with that, the only way you can dodge it is by paragliding, which I'm not very good at, but anyway. Sometimes that's the only way to dodge it, and so forth. Yeah. There's also the sword rain phase, which is probably the easiest phase of the fight, but still a very good one nonetheless. It's just in this phase you can tell that the Radiance is getting rather desperate as a void rises, which is a cool little detail. And if she's getting desperate, she could have just asked for help from her sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. How generous of them. Just joking, of course, but anyway. She's just like, it's quite a good test, and
I would have liked it more if the spikes maintained the same behaviour instead of being constant, because it's still just as like that it would have added some more depth to the phase that it really needed. But anyway, it's not my decision now, is it? And it's just quite a nice phase. Like, it's not really good or bad. Like, then she teleports out after Void grabs her, and the hardest phase begins. The platform phase. In this phase, you fight her on a series of platforms. This phase has you battle for every inch of space while dodging attacks. It's a really good test of your platforming skill. It's incredibly precise, despite the challenge it still maintains so far. The arena is much wider, but it's still difficult because it's on platforms. And then after that, the platforms all disappear, which is cool, but it's quite difficult. It's annoying to get to the platforms that don't disappear. And then you just climb up them as the void rises along with your siblings in the background, which is just epic. It's the most cinematic part of the whole fight, and it's brilliant. Absolute brilliant. At the top, the Hollow Knight's shape grabs the radiance and holds her tight, and she just screams, basically. It looks like she's screaming. Understandable. I would start screaming too if I was about to get killed. And then you start attacking her after your shell is shattered and the void within you is let loose, which is absolutely awesome. And then the ending starts, which I am going to discuss as its whole own paragraph, because it's brilliant. By paragraph, I obviously meant, like, section. Sorry, I've just been doing a bit of essay writing at school, so I'm not used to it. It's absolutely brilliant, and it has the best tone, this ending. From an animation standpoint, it's really good. You can definitely see, the Team Cherries, studying at the, University of Animation, I think? I forgot. Paying off, because it's beautiful. Like, it paints a really somber tone as the black end melts into void, and your shell is shattered and left there, which is really tragic as you watch the lanterns just slowly drip away. And somehow Hornet survives, which is good, because it means we get Silk Song. Every time I look at Hornet now, I'm just like, Silk Song. It's all I think whenever I see her. It's quite sad. It paints a really somber tone with the music and all, which is a great thing for such a scene, which I love. I absolutely love when things are like this. Then you go down to the void, which is up the abyss, sorry, not the void, where the siblings just stare upwards and slowly accept the fact that they were killed or something along those lines, and descend back into the bone piles. Then the game ends. But you can restart, obviously. There are so many great things about this. It paints this really somber tone as if there's a better ending you can get, and indeed there is. There's absolutely a better ending. If you go into Godhome, but that could honestly get its own video on Godhome if this video reaches however many likes, I would say. But it's just absolutely brilliant the way it does it. Everything feels like a true, it feels like a bad ending, despite being, in the base game at least, without any of the DLCs, a bad ending, which I love. obviously Team Cherry says that they don't like true endings and stuff, so it's not a bad ending. I'm still confused about how the law of the sealed siblings ending is going to work, though. Because, seriously. But anyway, that's just another thing that doesn't matter right now. It's just one of my favourite cuts. It's the best cutscene in the game, other than not Dream No More. This is Dream No More. Sorry. Whatever God Ohm's ending is called. Embrace the Void. There we go.